right, welcome back to the Jamie O and Mason Ho show. We got Billy Kemper, Landon McNamara, and of course my co-host Mason Ho. What's up, boys?
Yeah, boys. Thanks for having us.
Bro, this is going to be an epic conversation. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And honestly, to wrangle these three guys on the North Shore, I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, I feel like it's already a win just starting off the podcast.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a big win.
Billy was on it, but I was trying to track down Landon right after the Eddie, and he was just nowhere to be found. But we'll talk about that later.
I dropped out of the earth for a little bit, for sure.
I would have done the same.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk about the Eddie Aikau and a little bit about the day leading up to it. I know I was kind of nervous. Surfline was saying it was going to be maybe the 15 to 18 foot range. They said a lot of things, and then I talked to Billy, and Billy said that it's going to be freaking huge. It's the biggest swell ever, and I was just kind of like, I didn't really know what to expect. What were you guys thinking, Billy?
I mean, the size of that storm, like just over the years of trying to spend some time on forecasting, that storm was so big that there's no way there wasn't going to be big waves.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times we look at how far they come to Hawaii if they pass that date line, and this one didn't really pass the date line, which was like, oh shit, is it going to be 15 to 18 or is there going to be 25 to 30 foot sets? And I just thought, looking back at the last year they ran the Eddie, it was a similar storm. This one was bigger. That one had a better path aiming towards Hawaii, but this one was just huge. And the way it flared towards the West Coast, there's a big tail. And I was like, there's no way that storm's not going to produce waves that are fucking 40 to 60 foot faces at Waimea.
Humongous. And Landon, what were your thoughts the day before?
Day before, when I woke up, I was bummed for my dad because I was like, me and my brother were talking. I hate to be my dad right now because the buoys were pretty small when we woke up. It wasn't big.
Yeah.
We thought it wasn't going to be on. And I don't know, held out fate and heard that he wanted to run it. And I was kind of skeptical still when he decided to turn it on. But first heat of the day kind of was still.
He nailed it.
Yeah, still yet the biggest wave almost of the whole event came in that first heat. So it's almost
100.
like a little affirmation blessing right there. Like, okay, we made the right call.
Love it. Love it. Mason, what were you thinking the day before the event?
Day before the event, I was just kind of not really thinking. I just kind of woke up and I was like, excuse me. I just woke up and I was kind of just excited like it was another day. And then my dad kind of kept reminding me like, hey, that thing's on tomorrow for sure. And I was like, what? Seriously? Like, you really think so? And then I'm like, I think it is too, but I was telling him, I'm trying not to think about it. But he's like, yeah, well, you better think about it. Get your leashes and your boards and your wax and all your stuff together. And then I actually hit up Uncle Liam because I was supposed to have some sex wax nailed to his surf shop. And it was like the day before. And I was like, no, I usually always have a bar.
You like sex wax?
I love sex wax.
Oh, man.
Since I was a kid, man, I just can't get past that name. Foo wax, just as sick, yeah, just
hairy.
F-U.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's too hairy.
Dude, me too.
Me too.
I got foo wax permanently stuck.
And I like foo too, man. I love foo.
I just shave it all off. I don't have to deal with that.
It's so funny, man.
Gorilla suit gone.
Whoever just sends the big boxes for free, and if there's a random check, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Sign the boys up.
Send it over,
So
boys.
sex wax for me.
We're ready to sign the contract. All of
Yeah, all of us, we love that wax.
Which one, sex wax or foo wax?
Yeah, I mean, I go sex wax because I've got a couple pennies and they give me huge bars of wax all the time. Foo's super cool though, and the guys are super cool. Yeah, he's always offered, but I was like, oh no, is wax like? Is wax the same as everything else? Are we allowed to use it all, or I don't know what? Do we stay loyal, or what do we do around here?
I just like 3 different waxes on one board sometimes.
Oh, that's pretty nuts.
Not on purpose, just whatever's around, but try to get something sticky on the top.
But I lost the heat in Japan doing that. I'll never never meow mix my waxes again.
All right, well, so
But you won the Eddie, so
yeah, what kind of wax are you using?
triple wax this guy.
I loaded up the foo.
Oh.
I don't know. It's
Oh,
been working out good. I like it, but I don't notice that huge of a difference.
I noticed it after I saw you that lip freaking land on your shoulder and you still pulled it
made
off.
Yeah, it was
Well, I mean,
heavy.
I guess I I notice it a little bit, but when you're planted on the board, your feet will work its way into whatever wax, kind of.
Was there sex wax under the foo, or no, just straight foo?
I don't remember. I think I just
don't let all your
out.
secrets
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, so I remember too, like the night before, I was just like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be big enough. And I was honestly thinking about Uncle Liam, and I'm like, oh, this is a heavy decision. Like Liam just called on this event. They're already going to spend at least $200,000. Everyone getting down there, setting up the scaffolding, and they got to set it up like 3 days before. I like went down there like the day before. The waves were like 15 to 18 feet. You know, I saw Billy out there and a bunch of other friends, and we were just getting a warm up. And we're all talking about the swell, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be small. And I just remember paddling out because I was heat 2, and I paddled out, and I was like, oh, it's only like 18 feet. And then boom, I was like, oh, there's a 25 footer. I was like,
Sick.
holy shit! Like I was like I was scared. I don't mean
Yes.
I love surfing big waves, but I'm scared, and I'm like just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm scared. And I was with Billy in my first heat, and I was like, do you get scared? Like, do you like think about shit before like that shit actually happens? Cause like I'll go down like a weird, deep negative like hole. And I'm like, why am I thinking about that? I gotta be thinking about like getting the biggest wave of my life. Like I'm out here just to have fun and ride waves. Like I'm like thinking about like, oh, what if you wipe out and then you're like in an ambulance and then going to the hospital and you don't remember anything of this stuff that you're thinking. Like I go kind of in like weird places, and then boom, I catch the wave. I was like, oh, that was sick. Like, you know, and then I remember catching a wave with Billy in my first heat and like dropping down, and Billy's like, oh, I'm like, for sure burning Billy, bro. This wave's sticking too good to not go, you know? Like
Sick, Bill. You threw out the call. Just
every wave. I got burned on every wave.
Oh, that was
event. I think I got one empty wave, but our second wave we rode was sick, right at the horn.
it was sick, but because it was after the heat.
Yeah.
But it was like this, like the horn blew and they're like, the heat's over.
Was that the first heat? You
Yeah.
guys oh, I think we got the end of that set, maybe.
Maybe.
Because I remember right when we were the heat after you guys, and right after your
when
guys'
the horn
heats
It
blew,
was that set.
I seen that thing, yeah, and everyone, it was cool because like everyone in my heat went on the first one. So the second one, there was like no one on it, and I got to go, but it was not perfect because I think Mark Healy fell on the first one because he was so deep and nuts that when I was coming down, his board was like perfectly across where my line was. And but he wasn't there. I think his leash broke or something. And then the skis were all there. So I was like riding like, I'm gonna have to jump onto these skis like while I'm riding. But then as I got closer, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to bronco or like rodeo it because the wave behind me, I think, is way too big and it's going to hurt my knees and stuff. So I ended up just jumping off my board, but it was so nuts. That was just heavy.
No, it was like we saw this wave and then it was a good one. Like me and Billy like took it and like we both take really late drops. Actually, I look back at the clip now. I'm like, oh, it wasn't as big as it felt. Like, it felt so gnarly and like steep and weird. And I was like, and boom, like Billy's like, oh, and we get down to the bottom. I look at Billy, he's just like, like boom, he gets blown up. Boom, I get blown up. But like it was kind of like the start to our day. It was like, like it just kind of got you all the cylinders firing. You just need to catch one wave at YMN. It just freaking like opens up the beast in you. You're like, oh, I want another one. Like, cause you survived it.
So true.
The little taste goes so far.
But I feel like it's always funny because like there's always like the guy behind you, like, you know, like Billy's probably like, fucking Jamie, bro. But then he's like, whatever, bro. He's all good. Like we surf good. We figure it out. We
Almost
get down
makes
and we're
it
safe.
sicker.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when
I
you-
think the only wave that, like, if you look at around the world, it's kind of like snowboarding. It's like almost sick to share the ride. Like, you love snowboarding. You've been going a ton. You riding powder, you want a friend next to you to share that feeling.
Totally.
Waimea and somewhat the same thing. It's not like that down the line barrel like Jaws where it's like having one of your boys take a huge drop, look at them, boom, get exploded. It's like, it's part of the vibe and the history of it. Like, we look back and the OGs, they were sharing waves out there.
Yeah.
So,
And you could share a wave with someone that you can trust. You know, that's always the
That's
greatest.
what I was
the
gonna
main
say.
part. Me too.
somebody who's setting a
Oh.
line, it's like night and day. I shared a couple waves throughout that day, and like knowing you're in front of me, I'm just like, oh, well, whatever. He's on his rail. I don't have to worry about him
I'm not some kook burning Billy
coming
Kemper.
back into the bowl.
It gets so sketchy sometimes. I yell every single time I go, but if it's a good friend or someone I trust, I'll yell for them to go with me.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? And
Sick.
I remember sharing a wave earlier in the winter with Yala Stewart, and I'm like, Yala kind of looked at me. I'm like, let's go together, and we're just like cracking up, laughing. But then during the Eddie, I dropped in on this wave. I was in the perfect spot, and then Luke Shepardson looks back at me. He goes, "Fuck!" And he kicks out right away. And I'm like, he's all mad at me. I'm like, bro, like I was just like catching this wave. I was in the spot, and he's all bummed. He's like, how many waves you got, huh? I was like, oh, I think I got 3 or something. He's like, yeah, 4. And he's like, just cutting my line. I was like, get out of here. I was like, you just won last year. Chill out, bro. I'm just surfing with a buddy. I don't care.
Inside scoops. I didn't even know about
I know
this.
he's vibing me all heavy, bro.
Nah, Luke
I
like
love that.
comp. I didn't know
Casual Luke.
Right.
So he
Speaking
was
of
comp.
casual,
It's 'cause
his
he's always-
first-
Casually.
This is what I saw before my heat. Me and Billy were sitting in
Bro,
the
that
channel.
was the biggest. Like to me,
I agree.
your
Yeah.
wave was the gnarliest drop. This was the biggest and best.
And
wave
that was
of
the
day.
first. That was the first set of the whole day. And before that was like 15 feet, and then
Yeah.
that thing just came in.
Oh, that's when I
We were
knew.
sitting in
I
the
knew
channel. I was
Pops
looking
made
at
the
him,
right
and he's
call.
like, "Ask me that. Like, do you get scared? Like, do you ever go down dark places?" I'm like, "Bro, look at this set. Here comes the biggest wave of the day."
Bro, I was so scared about it. But the funniest thing was, is everybody in my heat was so, yeah, Billy, look at that one. Oh, Joe, oh my God, that's that Mark wave. Wait, stop skipping around, boys.
Yeah,
Freaking me out over here. Look at Mark in the back. He's
So
psycho.
this is the first. I think this is the first wave.
This is-
that heat I was talking. I think I got the one right after.
This
See
is
how the
one-
whole heat's on the wave.
bro.
the whole
You
heat.
seen that? The whole heat was on the wave. I was behind, like rubbing my hands, like
Healy
yee,
went
solo.
old school Healy mode in that heat.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, 2 for. He went 0 for 2 off the back and blew
Did
his
he?
And he
eardrum
was
on the
going
second one.
huge. What's up with Mark Healy, bro?
He got
that-
hurt on that one, or
The second one, I think.
But they're identical. I was like, you had no chance at both those ways. Oh, Mace.
Nah, nah.
Is that your first wave?
Bill, there he is.
That was a huge one, Mason.
Bro,
Or was that
hey,
Bill?
wait,
That's
how
Bill.
fun
is
is
me
it
and
just
James.
Oh, this is
cherry
me
picking?
shoulder hopping him.
Oh, not even. You're just
Dude,
launching.
no, we had the slowest heat. I'm like, frick, I'll take anything of this chance.
right? I know that.
Look at
feeling.
Luke burning me. He was all mad.
Oh,
barrel
Spoofing.
almost.
bro,
Oh,
I
Ian
seen. I
Walsh.
seen this. I was
He
paddling
tried to
back
knife
out from
this
my
thing.
wave.
Thought
Yeah.
he was at the West Bowl.
Thought he
at
was
Jaws.
Jaws, yeah.
See
That's what-
ya.
Dude, he literally, dude, I seen Gladiator 2 like 3 or 4 days
You seen
somehow.
the trailer out there?
No,
Look at Landon on
Oh,
the
That's an opening scene of Gladiator
Jesus.
2.
jeez.
Kai
Hey,
Lenny couldn't
I
even
didn't
make that
even
drop.
see him on that wave. I didn't know until after that he was on that thing.
He wasn't on that thing.
Bro,
Yeah,
during
he was
that
not.
heat,
He
He
barrel.
was in that thing.
Landon was on that thing.
that was so sick being in that heat with you, bro.
was real fun.
There's a couple moments where like I like luck chipped into 1 or 2, and I was like, wait, this is feeling good. And then I hit the shore break, boom, little shore break. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna sell it, bro. I might just win this, bro. Like,
You're playing some mind games. I remember he's like, "Oh, what? I think I'm gonna just paddle in right now. Let you guys have it." Or
did I say that? Well, no, you misheard me. I'd never say that, bro.
He thought he got a 30.
He
Yeah,
said
he's like, I already
something
won.
I said something
trying
funny.
to like be like, "Oh,
I'm just smoking.
I'm not in it. Like
You
you
guys-
guys are good." But I was like, "Yeah, right." He's just trying to sneak.
Whoa, without
sneak
even
into
give me
the-
5 again. Bro. I don't even know. Sometimes, yeah, no. Mind games, I don't even know. Sometimes I'm just naturally being me. And then I hear like, oh, mind game. And I was thinking like, wow, that would have been perfectly a mind game. But then I was like, damn, that was from my heart. Was that a mind game? Or like,
My heart. Oh, you're
No.
a savage, huh?
no, or I guess, oh man, that's bad. No, but anyway, I remember in that heat being with you.
Oh, you
I
guys
was
shared the
kinda-
first heat together?
No, the second one.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and I think we were both like down. We had like I think you had a really good first round.
He had a huge score from the first
I
one.
had a
I had like a
I forget
decent.
the-
45 or something?
yeah in the 40 range. For the
I remember
first one.
after my heat, I heard someone say I was in second. I just started laughing, like, no way, that's possible. And then I don't know if it was you. I think it was you or someone was like ahead, yeah. But I was like, oh my God, second would just be like, all I want to do is get on that scaffolding. That's like the
That's
dream.
what all I wanted to do is get on the
Just
scaffolding.
scaffolding, and then. But anyway, long story short, I was with you in that heat. And I remember I was kind of happy, like, whoa, I'm in the scaffolding for sure. If not, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
and I just remember you like looked at you like, yeah, Lando, we're doing it, because I know it's your dream too to win and even just do the event. And I was just so happy. And I just remember you looked at me and you just were comping still, but you were like happy. You had so happy, but you're just like, yeah, like, yeah, like gave me this look. And I was like, oh my God, like he's sick in the head, like in the best way. And where you were sitting kind of even made you look even more nuts. And I was just like, wow, this guy's nuts. Like if he goes where he's at and like I felt like we're driving chicken, like driving, you know, in the cars, or you drive chicken and your friend, who's going to be scared first? And you turn. I feel like where you went, I was like, okay, I ain't going there, but I'm going to pull it from here. But if you pull it from there, I quit. You win. I'm going to die, you know? And
that was more along the lines of what you said out there. It was something about where we were sitting and you're like,
you want it.
Basically, I forget exactly what you said, but it was something like how you're just explaining right now, more than what I said earlier.
I think I just kind of told you at one point. I don't know exactly what I said, but I remember at one point I was like, whoa, Landon, you're effed up. I think I said, you're effed up. And you're like, huh? Like looking at me. And I was like, I know what you're doing or something. And you're like, what? I'm all, you're trying to win or something. I don't even know you. But then you're like, yeah. Or like, I don't even know if you acknowledge it. I don't know. I just remember I told you like, you're trying to win. I know what you're doing. And then you caught that wave. I didn't even see you catch that. When was that? Like end of the heat, middle of the heat?
Middle of the heat. That thing.
Is that the winning wave?
That was, yeah.
Sealed the deal.
That was a 50, huh? That was a perfect score.
Yeah. Yeah. That one, the heat before mine, I had seen some sets coming. I remember kind of seeing where Ross Clark Jones was sitting and seeing some sets coming from right there. So I knew where they were kind of breaking, and the set came. The first wave kind of rolled past.
I got that. Remember, and I remember you almost got it. I remember you almost got it, and I was like, "Woo!" Skittered in.
I was lucky. I didn't get that one because I turned around and it was already standing up, so I didn't really even have time to think too much about it. I just
was that the one?
Yeah, I believe so. If that's the one you're thinking. If you went on the first one.
No, did you go right? Was your wave, your 50 right in the beginning kind of?
No. I got one all right.
You got two gnarly heats, waves in that heat, right? You got the 50 and another bomb, right?
I got two good scores. I don't know what the score was in that second heat, the other wave, but that was two of my winning waves.
We're in the second heat.
We're in the second
because I seen one of them. I remember I went on the first one and I kicked out, and I remember kicking out and I pointed out the back. I was like half pointing Uncle D, half like, bah, and then I seen, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get closed out. The channel's going to close out on me. I knew it was going to close out, and I was like psyching. Usually I'm scared when you're going to get closed out in the channel. And I was like psyching, yeah, I'm going to get pounded. Yeah, Uncle D. And then I seen you going. I'm like, holy shit, Landon. And then someone was going too. And then I think they kicked out and you cut back in to the, you like, remember it was going to close the bay out. You could have kicked out, but you went, no, I'm re-entering the bay.
No, you know what that was about
when was that? What the heck?
That was the first wave I caught in that second heat. But
yeah, okay.
That was because the heat before I was watching, did you guys see Ben almost get sucked into the jump?
Yeah.
That was right before my heat when I was watching what the sets were doing. And I seen him get in a position to where like no one could really help him at that point. He just had to kind of fend for himself and get in, which he did, but it was super scary.
You know, that's where everyone died. Yeah, back in the day. That's where everyone dies. When it's big is over there. Once you're over there, like no one can come. The skis
couldn't come. The lifeguards couldn't go out. It was pretty gnarly. And I was watching that and I kind of set in. I was like, oh, if you're on your own, you're still on your own. No matter if this is the safest day ever out there, you're on your own in those situations. And that kind of scared me. But then I realized, okay, when it closes out, just cut back. I'm not going across the whole bay, because I did that. I got sucked to the other side of the bay in the last event, and I ended up having to get back surgery after because I got so worked.
You could have almost kicked out though with everyone, but you were thinking about the wave after maybe.
No, it just.
Dude, that was crazy. I seen you do it. I'm like, oh shit, at least I'm getting pounded to Landon for sure.
No, I was kind of locked in. Not super locked in, but I don't know. I saw an opportunity to maybe go to the shore break. But if you don't keep going past the bay, past the middle of the bay, like that whitewash isn't super gnarly in the middle there. You know, it gets gnarlier when you're farther in. So just rode it to try and get a little extra out of it, I guess.
That's so sick. You want to know something funny too? I kind of thought was funny because I heard you say about the turtle in your speech. I was like, whoa, that's the sickest thing, you know? Because I feel like sometimes everyone clicks into that, and sometimes you're not clicked into that. But dude, I seen the turtle a couple times, and I was like, "What's up, turtle?" You, and just would fly right by it. See you later, turtle. Like, but when you said, "Oh, I seen the turtle," I followed it. I was thinking, "Oh, dang, I seen that turtle." Like, tried to give me a chance, but I was just like, woo, see you later. And then I was like, oh, I should have been like Landon and cruised by that thing a little bit. I think I was too excited.
Nobody listens to Turtle.
Nobody. Not Landon did. No.
That should be
I
the
want-
new shirt.
Trying to
Landon
tell you.
listens to Turtle.
Turtle, dude.
I like
It
it.
sounds like some hippie stuff, but I don't know. I believe in
That's cool.
Amakuas and whatnot. And
100.
for me, it's like, what else are they doing out there? It's huge. Why are they cruising there?
Go
you know?
cruise by him. Yeah, that was sick. No, I've chased the turtle a couple times.
Yeah.
Chased the no, I won't say that one. but no, I've like followed the turtle a couple times. It always leads you into a cool spot.
I feel like they always hang out by the boils, which is where I kind of line up with anyway at most spots. So,
Yeah, I was at Pipe the other day, and I was just like, there was this turtle just right under me, and I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I
Yeah.
thought about Landon right away. I was like, oh, sick. Like same vibe. Bring me wave pipeline.
Come on, give me a nug. Yeah, that's sick.
So I remember going into my second heat, and I wasn't with Billy anymore, which I was kind of bummed because I love surfing heats with Billy. And then I was still with Makua, and I think there was a couple other guys, obviously, but Jamie Mitchell, and like, I don't know, I just was like out there doing my thing, and I was catching some waves. Oh, Luke Shepardson. And then I just kind of was like in this rhythm. Like, I didn't think I like was killing it, but I was finally catching waves because me and Bill's first heat was really slow. I know Billy got a crazy wave in the first heat, and he got one but that was the one I kind of shoulder hopped him. Like, that was one of his highest scores. And I just remember coming in from my heat like, oh, that was so sick. I had such a fun session. That's why I like to surf in this event, because I was just out there with my friends having a good time. Zeke Lau was in my heat. He was great. And a couple of girls. But like, I just came in and someone's like, dude, you're in first. I'm like, no freaking way. I'm not in first, bro. I was tripping. And then I was just, then that's when it kicked in. I was like, oh, I'm stressed out, bro. I'm like, I'm in first? Like, that's too weird, bro. Like, I'm like,
so gnarly.
bro, I'm like, and I'm the first heat of like 4 or 6 or something. I'm just like, oh, and then boom, Billy was second heat, and they're like, boom, Billy's in first, and I was in second. Billy's like ahead by 1 point. I'm like, oh man, that's nuts. Okay, well, I'd be happy to get second, and then like I think the next heat, like nothing happened, and I was like, oh, sick. And then I think in your guys' last heat, that's where all the scores started to drop. It was like a special heat, and like, boom, you got your wave, you just rocketed to first, and then boom, Mason got a huge one, and then boom, and like me and Billy were just like, we went from both first to like second, third, and then Billy stayed at third, and then I went to fourth. But like, it was just like such a cool like, dude, honestly, I felt like I was like a 11-year-old kid making the final for the first time, and to be able to go up on that podium, it just meant so much for me. It's like a childhood dream. I mean, have you been on the podium before?
Last year I made the podium.
Oh, you're on back to back podium, dog.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, when Mason was saying earlier about when he came in and somebody's like, oh, you're in first. And he was like, it was me. I told you, because I was like, yeah, I'm in third. I was rattled.
But you were the one who told me.
Yeah,
I was
and
in
you're
second.
like,
Give me
how
five,
are you?
Give me 5.
You're like, how are you bummed you're on the podium, bro? And I was just like, I wanted to win this event so bad. But it just goes to show, I think what you said, like, that was the only event that brought back those like childhood nerves of like making the finals at the Manahuni comp, like in 6th place. It's like that holy shit. And, you know, I look at all these other events in the world and it doesn't bring that out of you. Yeah. And I think it's just the tradition. This event's only ran 11 times in 40 years.
It's like, crazy.
It's just so powerful that it brings so much out of us. Like, that was, I mean, I went home over the moon 2 years in a row, making the podium out there. I was like, this is really like a big dream of mine. It is the biggest dream growing up, was to be on that podium and to share it with everyone I grew up with. It's like it's the fucking craziest thing.
Sick. Yeah, that was so sick.
It's so sick. I mean, all of us, all of us, like we've all grown up in our own way. From like, it's just crazy. That whole podium was all like North Shore boys who grew up together. I was baffled on that.
I literally felt like, I don't even know, I've like my first final of my life, bro. I got 4th, bro. I was so proud of myself, bro. And then to be up there with all you legends, I was like tripping. I'm like, oh, these guys are badasses. But the sickest thing about all of it is, bro, everyone in the contest was a badass. And like, and I don't call myself a big wave surfer, but I will go, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. I see it, I want it, I'm gonna go. And I think we all have that in our instinct. I think Billy's a really big wave surfer, and like obviously won Jaws
World
4 times. Like it's 4 times.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone will ever do
and
that
world
again.
champion too, right, Bill?
Yeah. So
Big
it's like,
wave,
so like it like empowers me and makes me feel like more psyched that like I was there with him. And then also like Landon, like I swear, like, and I feel like you've only been in the Eddie. You surfed it 2 times or 3 times?
dude, you double podium too.
Yeah,
You're being all quiet over there.
I squeaked into the one before. I was 7th, but luckily seven makes it.
Oh, sick. Well, when I got 7th in 2009,
They didn't let you
They
out.
didn't know. But then I was bummed when I saw it the next year and they started like giving like more trophies out. But that's sick. I mean, I would have took the trophy in a second. Like, oh, wow. Like greatest achievement of my life. Like, I just think it's cool that like, you know, like I feel like you always should have been in the event, and then finally given an opportunity. Like you said, you podium first year, and then boom, you like freaking won the freaking Eddie Aikau. It's like, there's a lot of kids on the North Shore that probably can do it too if given the chance and the opportunity, and you took that opportunity and you seized the moment.
Yeah, that's a real special thing about the event, is that it gives like the underground chargers the same opportunity as the kind of world-renowned chargers. And like you said, there's plenty of guys out here that can do it. It's just having the chance to get on the alternate list and get invited. It's like that's a long process. It took me a solid 10 years to get to a point to where I could surf in it. And I mean, if I can do it, any little North Shore kid out here can do it.
Yeah. No,
I was just a little small wave gremlin Grom too. Like even Jamie would be like, "Wow, what are you doing? Get out the pipe." When I was younger, you know. But I was like, I will one day. But I was a little scared. But and I was like, I'm also gonna be in the Eddie Aikau one day, you know. But I'd almost like giggle, like, yeah, right.
You didn't even graduate from VLAN.
I didn't even get from VLAN. No, exactly.
Inside bowl.
No, yeah. And then, but we'd all go to the Eddie Aikau ceremony every year as kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember you, Jamie, you're there all tiny.
Yeah.
Me and Billy and me Landon together. We'd all go as kids. So it's always like, I don't know how, but one day I'm going to be in this. Like, I feel like when you're growing up and you want to be a surfer, whether you're a little air guy or a little VLAN or whatever, you're just like Eddie somehow. But then it was just such a blessing to kind of like you said, you get on the alternate list. Like I always would kind of at least show up to the band, get one big one or a wipeout, or just show some sort of love and always be going for big waves. But yeah, you get on the alternate list and then eventually you get into the event. And for me, it like changed my life because I wasn't ever really known when I was younger for like the big waves. You know, I'd get some nice pipeline. I eventually got to pipeline, and slowly I got to Wyman, and then I got to do my first Eddie, and I think I got 7th too my first year.
Sick.
And it was that year
John won.
John won, yeah, and it was really big, and I got a really nice. You got some huge ones
You
too,
guys
Jamie. That
both
year.
could have won that day.
2016.
You guys both fell on massive waves.
Oh, that's the one you fell on the
Both of you.
bottom. man.
Yeah.
Oh,
remember?
yeah,
Yours
yeah.
was a chain too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ate on a huge one at the
Huge one.
bottom. Both those were like
Yeah,
were winning
Bill.
waves.
Yeah.
I got robbed though that year. I'm kind of pissed. I talked about it with
Me
Uncle
too,
Liam,
man.
and he like kind of helped like kind of make me feel alright about it.
Yeah.
Help navigate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a trippy
It's a dream.
It's hard
one.
because it's like you don't want to show that energy, and this is what I like really pulled myself down to with that event is like it's not the event you're like should be bummed on scores or the way things are working out, because you're really celebrating Eddie. Like
Yeah.
it's such an honor and to be a part of that legacy and a part of that opening ceremony, from being a
Yes.
Grom to an alternate to an invitee to it running and being able to compete. Like you got to take that out of you. And I get caught up. I'm so competitive with thinking, oh, the score is this.
Billy's nuts.
It's like such a
Nailed it, though,
But then
with
at
everything.
the end of the day, like it's the biggest accomplishment. I know it was on the top of the totem pole, probably for all 4 of
Yep,
us.
yep.
Like, yeah, we want to be pipe masters, but the Eddie, like
Yeah.
the Eddie's
Oh,
the Eddie. And
It's more prestigious as
so
it-
you have to have that when you have it that high on your goal list. Like that's the dream, that you have to have that little bit of competitive like itch to really push through. And so it's hard to balance it out. Like it is for the legacy and like the honor to compete, but then again, you want to win so bad. It's a trippy one.
Imagine given the opportunity to surf Waimea on the best day of the year with the best water patrol with all your best friends.
Oh.
And there's only 6 people out. That is the dream alone.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's
It's so crazy.
that doesn't happen.
No.
And all the owners of every restaurant just there watching. Just like, bro, I'm going, bro.
Well, the whole island just turns off and goes, Eddie's on, and everyone doesn't go to work. It's like a instant like holiday. It's like Eddie Aikau holiday, celebrating Eddie Aikau's life and tradition and
So
It's
sick.
so special because this I'm like you too, Billy. Or I love getting competitive and compete, you know. But for the Eddie, I noticed like this year I was just straight. Like anytime the competitive thing would tickle me, I'd counter it with like, oh, it's for Eddie. Like I'm honoring Eddie this year. It's no comp Eddie, and then I'd even tell myself I'm literally ready for any wave, like anything that comes at me. I don't care if it's a 3-footer or a 100-footer. Or a no footer. That was my thing. I was like, I'm ready for anything. Like I was trying like, oh, I'm ready for anything. And then I'll just be like, and I'm also ready for nothing. Like if it's too scary, I'm going to get a 0 and I don't care. And every time I'd kind of like my nerves would go up or down. I'd be like, okay, and honor Uncle Eddie, only Uncle Eddie. And then, oh, I'm ready for nothing. I'm ready for anything. And then honor Uncle Eddie. I'm ready for nothing. I'm ready for anything. It was kind of that, but it always came back to like honoring. I love it, Billy. How you mention that. It's like so mainly about honoring Uncle Eddie that day. And the bonus is, oh, we really do get to comp with our friends a little bit, and maybe we win or not, or maybe we get close and we're like, it's all the same. Or it's just so special.
It's a crazy balancing act between the two, because I know every single one of us is out there wanting to win. You know, that's for sure on the forefront of my mind. I think anybody in the contest that tries to claim it's not true. All of us
one of those
win,
guys.
but
Greg Long's in that thing, or he's
no,
comping
but
too.
I mean, I feel like everybody for sure is going out wanting to win, but then tying in that, what better way to honor Eddie's name than to give it your all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean that is wanting to win is wanting to honor him in a sense.
Yeah,
too.
it's like fuel, huh? Like if you, it could make you go like, I'm ready to die more. I want to win. I want to beat Landon. I'm ready to die.
I felt like I was hard to get in a parking spot the day before, but I was a freaking nightmare. Bro. I heard Billy Kemper's like moving other guys' tents, like putting
That
his
was my
tent
dad's
there.
tent.
You want to hear this one? This is a whole nother story on its own.
This podcast is
year,
sick.
This podcast is sick. Last year, the last year it ran, me and Uncle Mike met down there. We built this mean little zone over the counter. We brought walks, everything, frying fish, making fried rice. And this year, me and Claude Grace go down the day before. And there's a white tent like on the beach next to
Dude,
Hawaiian
Dad
Water
went like
Patrol.
3 days before
And
the
Uncle
event.
Terry goes, the only tent I know is Uncle Mike's next to Water Patrol, so they can watch the waves. I'm like, whose blue fucking beat up broken tent is this over the table? I don't know whose that is. Maybe some homeless, whatever. But me and Clark breaking this thing down. It's so Jimmy rigged. Come walking up.
That's the one I tried to throw away. Dad won't throw it away.
Uncle Mike comes walking up. Billy, I saved your spot with the blue tent. I'm like, oh my God. Me and Kala, who's actually Uncle Mike's nephew by blood, we're just cracking up. The one guy in the entire world we don't want to move's tent or touch tent, it's Pops. And
He's like, connect your tent to mine.
Yeah.
And he's telling me, he's like, connect your tent to mine. And then Billy's like, oh, it's down.
Bro, we're
But we'll
trying
put it
to
back
set
up.
the thing back up and the legs are broken. I'm just like, it was so classic. That was the day before. I was just baffled. Like, wow, the one guy.
So funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta love that. I guess I got a good question for Landon. Like, what is it like going surf the Eddie Aikau and like performing in front of tens of thousands of people? I mean, there's probably 50,000 people watching the Eddie versus like you going to a concert and singing wherever it may be around the world with 50,000 people. What's more like nerve wracking to you?
The day of the event, it's different because usually the nerves come from the waves and being that fear of the ocean. But on a day like that, it was more of a fear of performance, and that's a similar fear I'll get for playing music as well. I don't know. I always want to do my best and give it my all, and I know what I have to give. So I guess there's a bit of performance anxiety on both, but then there's a kind of beautiful surrender that happens. You know, once it's time and you're out there, like it's on. Like after I caught my first wave, I was like, okay, board's good. I'm good. We're on.
Yeah.
So that wipes it all away. And same thing for singing. Once the first note comes out and I'm like, oh, okay, I can still sing.
Yeah. A little
I'm all
nerve wracking
good.
before you get up there though. Yeah.
For sure. It's all, but that's what makes everything special and sacred is like without those initial emotions of anxiety and doubt and fear, it wouldn't make conquering it as special as it is.
Sick. That would be like such a cool,
Super sick.
it would be such a cool like feeling probably. I'm sure you've done it before is like, you know, you go out there and you film and make a bunch of like a sick edit and then you add all your sick clips of yourself like to your own music. It must be like pretty freaking cool, right?
Yeah, they both work together in my life in very similar ways. It's, I mean, surfing's an art form for sure, and it's a way for you to personally express yourself on a wave, and same thing with music. They fill the same kind of spot in my heart and in my life.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I had the worst voice ever. So I would never be a singer, but I'm glad I'm a surfer. All right, we're going to take a quick break from the podcast and introduce you to our friends at Manscaped. I've been using their products for a long time, and it's great to partner with them and share some of their amazing products. Introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 skin-safe blades, LED lights, waterproof, and ready for action wherever, whenever. Make sure to check out this product. Honestly, it is a new year, like we said, and you need to start shaving that monkey suit. You need to get ready for this summer. Make sure you check out my friends over at Manscaped. And that's not it. We also have the Beard Hedger. This can give you so many different kind of looks. It all depends. It's all up to you as well. You know, for me, I like a clean shave. Some people like mustaches. Some people like goatees. I just can't surf with one of those mustaches because all I could do is see the water follicles all over my mustache. And that's why I keep a clean face, ditch the mess, ditch the guards with the built-in zoom wheel offering 20 different lengths, which is absolutely amazing. This is a great product. 60 minutes of runtime, LED indicator. You don't want to be left with a half-shaven face. And the best part about this is there's the 30-day money-back guarantee. Join the 11 million men who trust Manscaped to revamp their grooming routine with the Beard and Balls bundle. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code JOB at manscaped.com. Let's get back into the podcast. What else? Any other you guys have any big wipeouts in the event?
Oh, I scraped by pretty good this one.
Yeah.
I'm stoked because the last one, I got destroyed. A lot of people didn't see it. I'm surprised. I was looking for clips of it and whatnot, but I got so worked from the outside main peak all the way through. Nolan Carolina picked me up, and he said like I was blue, and he picked me up, and I had to get back surgery after that one. But this one, as long as you don't really fall in a drop out there or get caught inside, like I'm not speaking to you guys know, but to whoever's listening.
Yeah, yeah. No, for sure.
The white water looks super gnarly, but for the most part, if you make it to that white water, you're kind of cruising. So yeah. I made it to the white water every time. So really stoked.
What about you?
Me really? Too. I got away I woke up at 5:30 the next morning. I'm like, nothing happened. Like I feel fine. And the year before, I freaking was blown. I had a messed up knee, concussed. I had stitches in my face from the few days before. And
you had a heavy wipeout.
I don't even really remember the event. I went first wave of the event I went on was the first closeout set of my heat, and the next wave after, I'm watching Luke just get this easy roll in on a closeout set when I just fell 50 feet from the top floor airdropping. And then I took his wave on the head, same thing. I got smoked all the way in. And then my second heat too, I took another huge airdrop and ate shit again. So last year was I got my ass handed to me. This year I got away clean. I
had the exact same experience. Yeah, last year I went into it with stitches.
Yeah, I remember you're laid out.
Big hole in my leg. Yeah, I would have never surfed anywhere. But
you'll take a break if you get a little scratch sometimes. Yeah,
I will sometimes.
He plays it real smart. That's why I know. That's how much this means. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
you would have gone out with a lot worse injuries to this, but
I think I had one
In
worse the
2016.
The year before was even worse.
really?
Guts was hanging out.
Oh.
Has this been
But-
podcasted yet?
a little
we
bit.
hit
We
that
talked
thing.
about
we
it.
hit that thing.
No.
but I'll hit it again if
No,
you want,
or
for
just,
sure.
just can you talk us through it, like
just
from
run
the
Lando
morning
through.
and then leading into the van and then the experience coming
yeah,
out of the van?
Of course. But I mean, just
In
like
between heats?
before we even go to the undercut was like last year I had stitches in my leg, like a hole. And I ended up going on that wave with Lucas. He went. Chumbo, yeah. And
Oh, yeah, he ate it.
man, I had the nuts.
No, he made it.
He
He
made it.
free-fell the
And I
whole
free
thing.
fell the entire
Almost
wave.
stuck it though.
Yeah, and then I almost kind of stuck it, but my board was made in 98. I swear that's why.
Dad cut the fins off
Dad
with a saw
cut the
and
fins
put
and
on
made
them.
it all like,
Bro.
oh, just use them. Oh,
I was
and I was like,
baffled
what
seeing
the
what this guy was riding.
25 years old.
Had Ronnie Burns freaking middle, the big
Yeah,
middle
the
fin,
longboard
huge
fin in
middle
the
fin.
middle.
And
Too small.
I was going down the thing, just thinking of a forefin, but feeling the thing pull up. I'm like, Dad, I know I need a forefin. He's like, this is how we used to do it. Ronnie Burns, freaking. I'm like, oh, bro, whatever. Ronnie Burns shoots, then I'll go.
Right,
But-
there's a clip.
Oh, right here, just cremated.
Oh, man.
You would have took him out too.
Yeah.
That would have been a pleasure. Then,
So what? You,
I mean, besides before what I did, that'd be.
so
more-
what happened? You just creamed your stitches on that
yeah,
thing?
no. So my stitches just ripped open, hole open, and then I ended up like I didn't even know this was a thing, but I sprained my neck. And, or you know how you can like sprain your ankle and you're out for like weeks. The doctors are like, "Oh, you sprained your neck," and I was like, "Oh, wait, what?" I'm like, "When you sprain your ankle, you're out for like weeks." They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna be out for months, bro. You're done." And I was done for a while. And then I tried to go on a search trip with Mick and them after and just got folded again and redid it for months again.
Oh,
So it was like, I took myself out on that one. So last year was nuts. This year, I pulled it off barely. I kind of had a Billy thing. I woke up in the morning like, oh my God, like felt my body. And the 2 years before, it was so heavy that that like this year, I was like, oh my God, like almost thought I woke up in a dream. And then just thinking
That's
of
how I
getting
felt.
second place, I was like, kept thinking like, oh my God, I'm okay. Second place? Yeah. And then I'd be like, oh, Landon, whew. How did Landon's heavy? Like how, like he nailed the dream. Like,
You know what's a funny one is right after our second heat, Ayala was in the next seat. And Ayala's like my brother, you guys know. But first thing he said to me is like, oh, you got second, but good job.
yeah,
And I was like,
it's a brother. That's a real brother.
and I was going through all the emotions that we were kind of talking about, like, oh, okay. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to
You're
swear, but
good.
Can't,
anyway,
it's the podcast.
I was like, wow, I blew it. There's another set. That's why at the end of my heat, I could have got, but my leg locked up to where I couldn't even paddle. And I thought I had already sealed it. So I was like, okay, it's okay. But then he told me he got second. I was like,
I
oh
pepper
my.
tipped in the one too,
Yeah.
right at the end. The
There's
last
huge
one.
ones at the
I
end.
think
but-
I needed it too.
Yeah. There's some bombs. So when he told me I got second, I was just beating myself up. Like, are you kidding me? This was your chance. You could have won. I was going in on the ski, just like going through all those emotions. And I was like, you know what? Just be grateful. You're in the Eddie. Come on, be grateful. But,
Yeah.
but wow, you blew it so hard. What are you doing? Made it in, and then slowly started getting the word from people that I was in first. But yeah, Ayala stressed me out.
Oh.
That's a real brother. That's the real brothers. Yeah, they just little poke,
little dagger.
Yeah.
little dagger. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to that.
yeah.
Your first Eddie.
Oh, he tried to-
Yeah, I love this one. dog.
This is
How do you want it?
so
Just tell me
radical.
how you want it.
Just
you want the
tell us
full
how it
detail
is.
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
end,
Detail.
from the beginning, just as nuts as it
You,
gets.
you told me this story just we were just talking story and I
I
was
tried
like,
to
I was like,
tell you
I was
in
like,
code.
wow.
yeah.
I thought I had it bad in Eddie by not placing.
Oh yeah. Now
Yeah.
and I placed that year too.
Yeah.
Gee.
Lay it
but-
out.
Lay it out.
Lay
Literally.
it out.
But I guess I'll try and make it long story short, and I'll try to keep it little PG. But how do I do this? Like about a week before the thing, or even like like even we'll just go detailed. Yeah, 10 days roughly before the thing, I just felt the itch by my butthole. And I was just like, "Wow, what is that? Wow, whatever, fuck that thing." And then I just kept surfing, kept doing my thing. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like a week out, they're like, "Hold Eddie Swell coming, bro. get ready. This thing's heavy. Hey, Jamie, don't put this on. Don't put, I mean, you can put it on the
thing's in there.
podcast, but don't make a pro fucking reel of this thing. This is gonna be
We're
heavy,
all gonna
bro.
collaborate on this.
Yeah, this is heavy.
This is the
But anyway,
opening clip.
Anyway,
like,
yeah, no, I finally, a week before Billy, I think, or someone's telling me like, 100-foot swell, maybe, or a huge swell. And I'm just like, okay, I better check this thing by my butt. So I go check it. I'm like, okay, fuck, that thing's huge, man. There's a bump down. There's a big old
hammy.
Yeah, hammies, bro.
Yeah.
Hanging out. So I was like, okay, this is heavy, bag. At least I got like 6 days, minor. I'll just fucking relax. It's my favorite thing. And I, like you said, if it's a scratch, I'm chilling. So I just put on the Vikings, just kick back, watch it on my belly for like a week. Seasons on my belly. The Eddie comes. I think the day before, my dad's like, hey, just get up, or not get up, but he's like, oh, you okay? He was trying to help me so much. My pops, yeah, he's like, so he was helping me. And then right there, he's like, okay, 2 days before, he's like, you sure you want to go ride the board? You never rode the board. You want to go ride it before the Eddie? And I was like, yeah, I do, but I can't. I can barely walk to the bathroom. This thing feels like freaking feels like I should be out for another month. This thing's gnarly. How is in 3 days? You think I'm going to surf that contest? And he's like, okay, I'll go try the board for you. I was like, okay.
Sick.
So he went and tried the board. He comes home. Oh, it's so mental, sunset, the board. I'm like, yeah, cool, great. Like, kind of bummed. I had the hammy flaring. And then right there, like another day goes by. So anyway, long story, a little shorter. Day before the contest, he's like, you sure you don't want to go try your board? You sure you don't want to go pull your thing? I don't think you've ever pulled your thing before, the blow-ups. And I'm like, no, Dad, I'm sorry. If I pull that thing right now and any pressure pushes anywhere, bro, it's not going to be good. I could go backwards, yeah. And I was like, and I ain't paddling, I ain't surfing. I'll at least check this thing, but I'll go wax my board, or I'll go pick up the board, and because I'm feeling nervous, I was feeling super like, it was my first Eddie ever. So it was the day before, and my dad had like these 4 boards like set up, like which one you want to ride. And then, so I was like feeling all of them, whatever, that's a different story. Anyway, I got the board, went to sleep with the thing. I found a board that felt nice, went to sleep with it. I was thinking I was like, am I going to do the contest tomorrow? This is so nice. I could literally like walk into the bathroom.
You slept with your surfboard?
No, but I slept with it like looking at me, like a tombstone. I did. I was like, right. But I went to sleep. I woke up and I was like, okay, I'll at least drive down myself. And then when I went to try to go down, to sit down to like do the drive, I was like, oh no, I can't sit down. That was like plan A, was just be a man, go show up to the Eddie, surf, screw the hammer. You don't even have that today. But when I tried to sit down, I was like, my dad's like, don't worry, plan B, bro. I got the mattress in the van. Go boogie board. He's like, boogie board the whole way there on your belly. Lay on your belly. I got the pillows, the sleeping bag. We'll drive there. All good. The boards. We'll have Uncle drive your truck with the boards. So I ended up just laying on my belly, mattressing there. And I don't even know if it's a real theory or nothing. I don't want to tell the details, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I was playing the ice cube. Yeah, I was just like, whatever. I was holding the thing up there with the ice cube. Yeah, boom. Just gotta do it. Yeah. So I'm like going there thinking, all cold, 4 a.m, like down, like, I'm like going down there.
Wake up.
And I hear all the waves breaking, and my dad's in the top, like, look at all the people parking down the Sunset. Oh my gosh. And I'm just like, oh my God, you hear the waves. And then we pull up into the parking, all the security. Oh, what's up? Yeah, Uncle Mike. Where's Mace? He's like, yeah, he's in the back. He's boss. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, I better take the ice cube out and let it look normal. Yeah. So I'm like pulling my shorts all normal, like, pulling my pants back up. What's up, Uncle? And then they're like trying to give me 5. I'm like, no, you don't want to 5 my hands, bro. Like, straight, no. And then like 1 or 2 guys, I was like, what's up, man?
Couple high fives.
Nah, to be honest though, no one really because I stayed in the van, yeah. I stayed in the van, and I just remember and I swear on my life, it was the craziest experience, because I pulled up in the van and I just laid on my belly the whole time, lay there, because I couldn't really lay on my back because it hurt. Yeah. And so I'd lay on my belly, and then finally I hear Burger come up. Burger's the only guy where I'm like, I don't care if you see my ball or everything, my ass and freaking everything.
My boy.
Yeah, my boy. Yeah. And so I was just like, what's up, Burger? He's like, whoa, what the heck? What's going on, bro? I thought you already healed that by now. I'm like, no way, this is heavy, bro. Get my water. Freaking please wax my board, please, bro. I'm like, I'm broken over here. And he's like, bro, what the? Don't touch me. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. And then And then, so I'm just laying there. And then I just remember it was getting light because we got there like an hour or two before the light. And then it got light. And I remember just thinking like, oh, can I go check it? And I went to kind of move. I'm like, oh, no, can't check it. It's too eggy feeling. And then Berg, I told Berger, go check it for me, Bergs. And then he's like, okay. And he like went and looked and he came back. He's like, I don't know if you want to know what I think, you know, because I don't really know. And I'm like, nah, what do you think? What do you know? He's like, I don't know. I've never seen the bear this big in my whole life. And then I was like, are you serious though? Like, you serious? And he's like, fuck yeah.
It's so
he's
big.
like, you think I want to tell you this right now? And he's like, and I could tell he was like not messing with me. So I was like, oh man. And then, so I waited there and kept cubing up. And then right there, my dad came up and my dad's like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, I don't know, Dad. I'm like pretty blown out. And he's like, well, you're riding the biggest board because he's like, I've never seen it. Or no, he didn't say that. I'm like, how big is it, Dad? And he's like, you don't even want to know. And I said, yeah, I do. How
That's
big?
scary.
Yeah. He said that. And I was like, and I said, no, I want to know that. How big? And
You're just in a van in the middle of Waimea Bay.
on my belly. I couldn't even get the pleasure of laying on my back, bro.
That's heavy.
Yeah, and I'm a back guy. I'm like on my belly, like, oh, it was already like eggy for weeks. But anyway, anyway, finally, I just remember right before the heat, I remember it was like an hour and a half before the heat. My dad's like, hey, I don't care what you're feeling like. You got to get up and put on all your stuff and get going right now because it's going to take you a long time to get out there. It's super heavy, heavier than anything you've ever experienced. So I was just like, okay, give me a second, Pop. And he like left. And right there, I just like was sitting there holding the hemorrhoid or like pushing it up there, just thinking
Crazy.
like, I was literally thinking, I literally thought this. I was like, has anyone pulled out of the Eddie before because of an injury? And then I was thinking, not that I know of. And I was like, what about an ass injury? and I was kind of like, I was like, oh, guaranteed not. And then I was like, I gotta go, but I ain't gonna be the first guy to pull out because of that. So I just remember I was like, okay, just ignore this thing. I got up and just started telling everyone, bro, or wash my hands really good, you know, and told Bam, bro, I put my top on. I don't really know how I couldn't. So we put the top on and did everything. And I did a couple little things where all of a sudden I like forgot I even had it a little bit, but I was still walking like super like weird and everyone was kind of teasing me a little bit. But it was funny because I ended up going out and I just remember having my jersey on and everything on, walking my board out and I was like, oh, I finally get to see how big it is. And when I walked up, it was like a in between sets. And I seen it and I was like, oh, this is like, looks like Waimea Bay. Like, okay. And then I started walking and then right when I got like to the about to paddle out, like the sets came and all the crowd went and everything. And it was like my first Eddie, you know? So it was like all hit like way too fast. It was like a high temp. It was like a scorcher. I was just like, oh my God. Like, or it was too gnarly almost at first, but
just
then
white light to the dome.
Yeah, just so gnarly and critical that, I just remember I was like, oh, I better start making this fun because this is about to go really like I'm about to be petrified, scared, like and not good, you know? And then I just remember I just started telling like Bruce and everyone like, oh yeah, man, this is heavy. I got a hemorrhoid. This is so heavy. And then I was like thinking, I know someone's going to laugh. And then like a couple guys weren't even laughing, but they looked like kind of scared and like a couple guys in the heat. I won't say any names, but I was like, hey, bro, I got a hemorrhoid, bro. What's up, bro? I know I'm going to make you feel better. And they're just like, yeah, Mason, what's up? And I'm just like, oh my God, bro, you're giving me the weird, I'm getting scared with you, bro. And I'd be like, I just remember Bruce. I'm like, Bruce was in my first heat ever. Yeah, Bruce Irons was in my
Sick.
first Eddie heat
Legendary.
ever. So yeah, so I grew up watching, you know, you guys and him win it. Remember the year he won it? So when when I seen Bruce, I'm like, Bruce, I told him my problem and he just started losing it laughing and he's like, oh, yours is worse than my injury. And then it was like all good, you know, so I made it out there, but yeah, it was heavy.
It's kind of funny, like the vibes out at the Bay. Like I felt like everyone was super quiet. The only person I could kind of get to talk was Billy. Like Billy was like the only one lightly engaging with me. Everyone was just like, we were like, just like, they were kind of just dicks out there. I'm like, bro, like what the, like, bro, let's just all enjoy this. And I'm like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, and I'll like pull off a wave. I'm like, oh, and then like, Tori Meister's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Jamie, you're in my way. I was like, no, I was just scared. I didn't want to go on that one. And he starts laughing. And like, I just feel like I can't just be out there and be all freaking gnarly and intense. I'm like, I need to talk. And like, like Mason said, everyone's just like
sometimes, yeah.
Bro, and they're the gnarliest
not
guys
dicks,
too.
Though, but it's not like dick, right? Because I remember one time Uncle Clyde like did it to me gnarly. Or like I was in my second heat in my first Eddie. And I just remember I was like out there and still doing my just trying to feel out who's happy, who's the meanies, who's just trying to figure out who's doing what. Yeah. And then I just remember I was like, oh, Uncle Clyde. And I always kind of know like, don't get too happy to Uncle Clyde, or like it's just pure respect. And like, cause I don't know him like that. Like, you know, and but I just remember finally we had this moment where we're so close and it was in between sets. And I just remember I looked at Uncle Clyde and I was just like, I just looked at him and we had a little moment. I was like, oh my gosh, if I give him a little good vibe right here, he might just crack a smile and like be stoked, you know, or whatever. So I was like, yeah, Uncle Clyde. Cause he got me in the event. I was an Aikau first alternate pick. So he picked me. So I figured, oh, now my first heat I did pretty cool, I thought. And then my second heat, now I'm with Uncle Clyde. I made it. I'm proving you right. I'm doing good. So when we look, he like looked at me. Yeah, he's like out there. He's like, just a gnarly most Hawaiian look. Yeah, just like, and then right there, I'm like, kind of like, whoo, and I see him. Yeah, I look at him and I'm like, oh, I'm all, yeah, Uncle. And I give him a, yeah, Uncle, like eye contact. And he just looks at me and gives me like a look like, why the F are you talking to me right now? Or like, or like, what are you thinking being this, like, you know where you're at right now? Or do you even know? Like, or he looked at me like so gnarly and I just felt this like
through
my soul, like a lesson just poof, pierced me. And I was just like, oh, like, and I just remember when he did it, I was like, and he kind of did it like, kind of like, get ready, what? Like, or just without even talking, gave me this like, you little puppy, get ready, you're going to get, or let's see something, what? Or like, just so gnarly that I was kind of like, oh, I felt like this thing come, and somehow within like 90 seconds, 3 minutes, that biggest wave that I've ever caught out there came in. And I just remember I was like, I seen it coming. I'm like, and I was still kind of like, oh, did Uncle just like shine me? Or am I just a barn? Or, you know, that little, you know, when a guy shines you, you know, you're kind of like, am I a barn? Like, I swear I'm not a barn. And I just remember, I'm like, Uncle, I remember like the set came. I'm like, okay. I was like, hey, Uncle Clyde's right here. Bomb's coming right there. I'm going to go right. And I didn't want to get in the way. I didn't want to get in his way because I knew there was bombs coming. Like everyone was going to get it. But I was just like, Uncle, you have to see me go on this thing, bro. So I went right by him. I think he was going and I just went right next to him. And I just looked at him. And I remember I looked at him and we were all running and I turned around and he looked at me like, huh? Like kind of like looked at me, I swear on my life. And I remember he looked at me and I just went, yeah, baby. I swear on my life. I heard about this. Yep.
Yeah, I heard
about my life.
Told me, he goes,
Kala was right next to me.
He went, yeah, baby, as he was taking off on like this 35-footer at Waimea.
No, it was Kala. Yeah, Kala was right
there.
next to me. I just remember I went right next to Uncle Clyde and I just looked at Uncle Clyde right. And he was like half looking at me, but I could tell I was going to go right in his ear. And I went, yeah, baby. And then I just started stroking. And I just remember I was like, oh, I better go now, bro. Because if I yeah, baby, and pull back, I'm out of the event. So I just went 100%.
Sealed the deal.
Yeah, it was super fun and cool. I got lit up. And then I went, it was like more than I could ever thought I could handle. And then I handled. And then when I got back out, I was all numb. And, you know, it was like, felt like car accident, a little bit like just numb and contorted. And I just went back to Uncle Clyde. I was almost like, and like, and like everyone was all, I think everyone got all pounded. And I just remember I came out to everyone like, and everyone was like, and we all looked at each other and I was just like, yeah, guy, like,
yeah, baby.
Yeah, kind of didn't say yeah, baby again, but I was thinking, yeah, baby. And then I went to Uncle Clyde, yeah, and I was thinking, oh, I'm good. Yeah, it's done. I've done my duty. And I just remember I went to Uncle Clyde, kind of like, think I'm done, you know, and Uncle Clyde's like, the heat's not over yet, boy. Whoa. I promise. And like told me like, oh, you better get one more. Like that was not like, I didn't even see it, you know, like, so I was just kind of like, oh, he's gnarly. And then I snuck one more to like feel like, cause I felt like the job, you know, in big waves, Billy, sometimes I feel like if you're not like if you don't really love the big waves, like you kind of get one and you're like, ooh, see you later, guys. I got my thrill and I might've got a clip and see you guys later. But the real guys are just like,
park it.
Yeah. I don't care about that one wave I like land in. So they're like, I'm going back out and back out and back out. You're like, oh, what? I kind of come to the beach like, oh man, there's a real one right there.
That's what I do when it's big. I usually go out there and get a couple. I'm like, I cruised that one.
Yeah, we're out of here. Or what? Or you go back out too?
No,
though?
I go in, I pipe, I go back out. But
Dude, hey, were you scared? Are you like more like not scared, I guess, but are you like I swear when you were younger, that you did not care.
I think there was like 10, 15 years where I just didn't really care. Yeah. And then I kind of started getting
aware now? Or like,
I just honestly, I just started wearing a helmet and wearing a float vest. I took a bad wipeout at pipe. I went head first on not even a big wave, maybe like a 6-foot wave at the end. It was maybe 8 in the beginning. And usually everyone's like, oh, it's a sandbar. And I got bucked, launched and hit my head. Did a scorpion, locked up in cramps with my legs right here. I had a little float vest on, but no helmet. And I was just all tweaked out. And I like broke my board, got sucked out the channel where I seen people die. And then I was just like, whoa, that was so gnarly. Came to the beach. Lifeguards are like asking me if I'm okay. Like, I'm just kind of like, so. I don't really freaking know what just happened.
Not okay.
I think I messed my back up, and that really kind of just set me forward to like just wearing a helmet, and like Landon wears a helmet. I just like at this point in my life, I don't want to die surfing pipeline, and I want to be safe. And then if something happens, I want to give one of you guys the best opportunity to save me. So I'm just to the point where I don't really care anymore. I'm just out there having fun surfing, but I don't want to die doing what I love.
That's sick.
Before I was like, it would be cool if I died and I love surfing pipeline, but I died there. That would be freaking cool.
I swear that's how you were, bro.
Yeah, you were like that.
I don't want to do
you
that.
Went on the gnarliest, like you still go on the gnarliest waves, but I just feel like there was no care for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You like lived out there in the like you lived in the cave.
I think it takes one of those situations to like poof, slap you in the face.
Yeah.
And whether it's even with just wave selection or it is flotation, helmets, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It takes that one just ringer to be like, oh shit, I gotta tighten myself up here and just be a little more calculated. 100%. Just like, look at the outcome a little more so before it happens.
Yeah. We're going to wrap up here soon, but I want to kind of go through all of our worst wipeouts at Waimea Bay. And then also would love to jump into the night after the Eddie, like how we were like kind of unwinding of the day, and then maybe a little bit about the next day. So for me, my worst wipeout at Waimea, I was probably 13 years old. It was like 10 to 12 foot pinballs, and then there's a set that came in, and we're all out there, thinking as little kids, like we're in the Eddie, who's gonna ride the biggest wave, and we would just all have this competition, whether it was like on the inside pinballs or it's like bigger out the back. As we started moving out the back, and I remember paddling for a wave and missing it, and then like going, oh, okay, boom, I pull back and I start paddling, and the next wave's so big and top to bottom, I swear it was like the first like real 15 footer I saw, and I had to bail, and as I bailed, I threw my board and I had a short leash. I wasn't like really prepared, because usually when you surf big waves, you don't have a longer leash. So it just kind of overall helps, I think. And I'm swimming through the wave like this, like panicking, like, oh my God, biggest wave of my life. And my board just goes, doom, and it pulls me back before I even get through the back of the wave. And it sucks me over the falls backwards. And I start getting pounded deep, like the most violent pounding. And then I was like, oh, I'm deep. Boom, and I hit the reef, and I'm like 13 years old. I'm like, oh, like I'm just like buckled on the reef. I'm just like, I'm freaking gonna die. And I remember just planting my feet on the freaking reef. I was like, and I started like swimming up, but I couldn't get anywhere because it was all bubbles. Like it was just like there was so much bubbles down there from the wave, and I remember just doing this. And I wasn't moving, and I was panicking. So then I started climbing up my leash, bro. And it was like the longest climb of my life. And I swear my board must have just been tombstoning like this for so long. Cause like it was like my leash was short, but I was at the reef. And I remember like, boom, like crawling up my leash. I'm like, I'm gonna freaking die. I'm gonna die. Bro, I pop up and the wave goes, bah, just hits me in the face, almost 2-wave hold down. Pushes me into the channel. I was like literally crying. I was tripping. My leash was like a 6 foot. No, it was like maybe like an 8 foot leash. But then it was like, I swear the thing was like freaking 15 feet after. It was like a little like noodle. And I remember like being in the channel, like my dad said, like, if you want to like become a better surfer, you need to overcome your fears and paddle back out. And I just remember paddling back out, and I was sitting out there. I'm like, what the heck am I doing out here now, bro? I just freaking almost died. I'm out of here. And I was like you guys said, I got one more. I was like, yeah, I killed it. Like that was nuts.
Fuck.
Billy, what do you got for Waimea?
Oh, worst Waimea beatdown? Fuck.
You have something.
I do. I mean, I had a couple bad ones. I don't really remember too much of last year's event. It was like
Oh,
a
that was
blackout.
heavy.
I was so in such a weird place. Not this year, the year before when it ran. One of our best friends, Claude Grace, was like just waking up from a coma basically, and it was just like, I don't know, it was kind of a dark feeling. But that I think that day I got really pounded in my first heat on that first closeout before Luke's first big one.
Yeah.
With the huge airdrop.
Off the side, but I got like water in my eyes, and I swear I would have made it. There was huge ribs, but I was like shaking my head as I was wheeling, and my board connected, but when I connected, I was like twisted in the wrong direction. But that wave, I fell on the top, so it sucked me all the way. Like
That's the worst.
It was a big drop down, and I got flogged on that one. And I don't think the jet skis grabbed me for like 3 waves.
Yeah.
And the next one, I was like pretty close to the ledge. And like you're saying, once you get pushed in the whitewater, it's not too violent. But if you're like within that first 50 yards of that outside boil, like you're getting flogged.
Was it that wave?
No,
run this
it
thing?
was
that Billy?
Yeah, that was me.
That's not-
That was my afternoon heat. I thought I was sticking this thing the whole time.
I thought I was sticking it the whole time.
Yeah, I was like in my mind, there
I know
was
that
not a
feeling.
second I was falling that whole wave.
So crazy.
But the
huh?
morning is the one I got proper flogging on.
Try to pull that one up here.
Yeah.
Find that thing for us. We want to watch Billy Kemper get pounded.
No, it was first heat. It was morning blue.
Yeah, afternoon's kind of nice and green.
Yep. Keep scrolling through there. No, not this one.
This is the view that like spectators see from the beach. Like you only see half the wave and half the drop. Here
No,
we go.
this was first.
Oh,
It was that heat.
oof. You surviving that?
No, not that one. Not even close.
Oh,
Is that?
No, it might have been right after that.
we're trying to find.
That was it.
Oh, yeah, you kind of almost had that thing.
I like where you took off too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was super chattery. It was the first wave.
Oh.
That was too close. Luke was on the next one. This is it right there. Whoop.
oh.
Hey, how's the feeling out there and you're paddling in the wave? You're like paddling in, and all of a sudden when you stand up, you're like, how's that ledge? The feeling of the ledge out there. When
Pretty
you're,
rad.
yeah, you're either like
slab.
right on top going
Yeah.
over, or you're under it already, or how crazy.
You project a lot of speed off of it. If that thing had a big horseshoe like Jaws on the end, of it, it'd be so sick.
Oh my
bro.
gosh. I've surfed Jaws, and I mean, you might think I'm stupid, but I feel like Waimea's
That's
drop.
fucked up.
I feel like Waimea's drops way harder than Jaws.
It just depends on the day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, I've surfed Jaws where there's a step on it. Like the day.
Well, if
They
it's
call the
50
content-
feet out the back,
Yeah.
then I see that. But
it's
Waimea,
interval. It's interval.
Yeah.
And it's where you position yourself. Like the West Bowl lurches super hard,
Yeah.
similar to Waimea. But Waimea is definitely way more of like a ledge. A slab. Like,
yeah.
poof, one spot. You want a fucking airdrop, you can airdrop on every wave you want out there.
Yep, totally.
I bet Landon has one of the worst wipeout stories
Yeah.
ever out
Yeah.
there. But I
He's
want to
like,
hear
oh,
this, guys. We already
You've
said
surfed
mine. I
big
don't even
Waimea
have to say
way
any
more
more
than
of
me,
mine.
So I'm really curious. You've probably had some hectic ones.
I was gonna ask if any of you guys touched the bottom out there, and I'm stoked you said you
Yeah.
did. 'Cause I haven't talked to many people that have. I've touched the bottom around 5 times out there, where I've
Psycho.
Ended up-
5?
That's
at least
crazy.
3 for sure, but I'm pretty sure a few
5
more.
for sure. I
Like,
wasn't saying it like that,
no,
right?
no, no.
You're questioning
Like,
him, Ame.
no.
No, I was like, but that, no, hell
been
no,
a
no.
long, it's been a long time and a lot of sessions out there, because I really did put in a lot of effort specifically with this goal in mind for a long time. So Waimea was always the spot to go to. Plenty of beatdowns, a few climbing a leash like that, being at the bottom, and like, whoa, when you're at the bottom out there, you know you're deep and you're getting ready for a 2-wave hold down. I've had similar ones like that where you're coming up barely for the next one. But honestly, my worst wipeout was the Eddie 2 years ago, because it was my second heat, the last heat of the day. I was on my 4th wave. It was the end of the heat, and I knew I was just like, okay, whatever comes, I'm going to go, even if I'm going to fall, whatever. Like, this is the last chance.
Yeah.
Sets came, I paddled as hard as I could for the first one, didn't make it, and turned around, and I was just, basically, I got barreled. There's a clip, it's like Eli and Jake Mock, you were on the wave, I think, and I'm literally
I
like, in the
remember
barrel.
seeing
Oh,
you
I
on the
remember that.
bottom
You're
of that
bored,
thing.
yeah?
Yeah, I got barreled, sucked over, just the most violent beating, came up, The next one, Aaron Gold's falling on it.
Oh.
Another set.
Oh, if he's going,
Yeah.
that thing is.
And I didn't move much. I got sucked over and was still right in a gnarly spot. So that thing broke right in front of me. Then there was one more. And then that day was like, you guys know how those flurries were that day.
It was like 50 wave
yeah,
sets.
so it did not stop. I got pushed in, got like 3 or 4 gnarly ones on the head out there, got pushed in the middle. And everyone else got caught, but they got pushed towards the right of the bay. So all the skis went there, and I just kept getting pushed in. And it had to have been like 12 waves. I was talking to Ha about it, and he said like my dad was up there like crying, thinking I was dying and
gnarly.
stuff. Like he's like, yeah, your dad was doing spinner dolphins.
oh my God.
I was stuck inside there, and I couldn't go in, couldn't go out. I was in that shore break area. And I knew I was going to knock out soon. Luckily, Nolan came in clutch, and he's a big boy, luckily, so he just scooped me up. But he told me, scooped me up, put me on the ski, flew me to the beach. Right when I got to the beach, the horn rang, and I was like, yes, okay, I don't need to paddle back out. But, yeah, I wasn't really taking care of myself that year, too, and I was just in no energy by the end of that heat, and I somehow pulled off staying conscious for that whole endeavor. But the next week after everything settled down, I was in the worst pain of my life. Had to go get back surgery and whatnot. So that was the most crucial one, to where it was a lot of the other ones were just one wave hold downs, long hold downs. But that was like a flurry of sets on the biggest day we've ever seen out there. So yeah, that one destroyed me.
Sick. Thanks. What about you, Mace?
I think I already spoke about my 2 gnarliest wipeouts ever out there. It was kind of like, I had that. It's either between the Eddie last year where I
the air
fell that airdrop
stitch
where I
blower.
sprained my neck and blew out my stitches, or the year before
The 100-foot Hemi.
the Yeah Baby with Uncle Clyde, and the Hemi
The
just
Yeah
nearly
Baby.
bursted.
Yeah,
And then,
baby.
but I actually, to be honest, maybe like one of my worst ones, just a quick one, is the Waimea. It wasn't even that big. It was like maybe like almost a 20-footer was coming in every now and then. And I went out there just to like, I really wanted to get like a big left and like pull in on the left, but it was a super clean day, but like not like 20, not Eddie size, but you know when it's like, yeah. You know when it's almost Eddie size, but it's really nice. And there'll be that one kind of Eddie tickler size day that would come in. But I remember I wanted to go out and get a left. And I remember I got like 1 or 2 rights, and I got this left, and I got the grab rail, and I got like this nice, felt like a big pipe barrel or something. And I just remember, I remember when I kicked out, I think I watched you, Landon, get some nice lefts.
I got one of my worst wipeouts on our left too.
Oh dang! So I remember like when I was watching you though, I always thought like, how do you paddle back out? Because you have to get kind of lucky maybe. And I remember when I was on the left, I never thought of how I was gonna get out until I was in the barrel, and I was in the barrel like, oh fuck, how am I gonna get out, or where do I go? So when I came out of the barrel and I went to kick out the back, and when I kicked out, it looked like some sets were coming, but I had like time to get out. So I paddled straight out, but since I went left at the bay, it like put me way deeper to that right. So I stroked out. By the time I got out right in time for the set. And It just so happened that I was a little bit way under and way deeper than I would ever be, like ever. And somehow the wave was like perfect. And everyone was like over at the normal peak, like woo, cheering, you know? So I was like, oh, fuck, I got to try and show off a little bit. Or I was thinking I gotta like fucking stoke everyone out, and I think I'm in the spot. So I whipped it, and I started paddling for it. Yeah, and I was paddling. I was like, oh my God, it looked like a 18-foot backdoor wave or something, like a huge backdoor wave. So I went to take off and like knife it. And when I was taking off, I went to knife it, like, oh, backdoor, I'm just gonna backdoor that huge thing everyone sees. And when I went to go take off, I went to start knifing it. And when I was knifing it, it just felt like the whole angle that I was knifing it was still turning into the lip. So I was like, oh, like I can't knife it yet. And so I went, no barrel, just get down. It's Waimea, you know, like just get down to the bottom. And I was like, and you're on the lefts now. So if you fucking jump, you're fucked. Or like, so I went to be like, okay, no barrel, straighten out. And then I went to straighten out and I airdropped because it did the ledge. And then I connected. And when I connected, my feet disconnected and then landed back on. Yeah. And I kind of did the splits. Yeah. But then I was like holding it like, no, I'm going to maybe pull it, you know? And then I think what happened was I rode it a little too long. And then when I fell on my back, the lip landed perfectly like on my face and chest. So it like I feel like it blew the world out of my body, or it blew the air and the fucking anything I had in me, you know? And then I got pounded way back there where you said is the worst spot. And I came up all, concussed, yeah, or I didn't know like really what the concussions really were then because I was pretty young, but I ended up like I couldn't really, it felt like I was lopsided a little bit, like going in I was kind of like, whoa, I got pounded, I'm all lopsided. And then I got to the beach, and then Rory, actually my friend Rory that films all the time, he knew to walk down, like he knew I wasn't going to be able to, and he's seen me get effed before a lot, and he came down to help me like to the car, and then I got in the car and whatever, I drove home, but the next 3 days I had to wear like glasses in my house. It was so gnarly. Like,
That's nuts.
Yeah, and I had a pipe contest coming up, and I was just like, no. I remember I woke up like, oh, the sun, and I just remember I put on glasses. Dad's like, bro, put on glasses, bro. You got pounded. And then I put on the glasses, yeah, and I just remember going like, am I gonna be able to surf pipe? He was like, put on your Vikings show, bro. He like, just put it on, yeah. And then,
Vikings
yeah,
show.
no, but yeah, I just remember I glassed it. And yeah, every time I'd go to pee, I'd go to get up to go pee, like, and I'd just be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I was just like, oh no, this ain't good, bro. If I fall at pipe one more, I'm done.
Like in 7th concussion.
I think we'll end it here. But you guys, thanks so much. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Landon. Thanks, Mason. Honestly, my favorite podcast so far, just because it's such like we're all coming off a high where we all had a chance to win the Eddie Aikau. But I'm freaking so psyched for you. It means a lot to see someone in our neighborhood win the contest and keep this event, in Hawaii. And yeah, I'm freaking so glad I got 4th and finished right behind Billy and Mason, bro. There's no jealousy.
Dream come true.
I was so happy for all the boys, and
sick.
I take my 4th as a first, bro. I'm like, I freaking did it, bro. I was
Especially with that event. I mean, bro, look at that photo up there. It's so rad seeing everyone up there. That was like, for me, the coolest thing ever. It was literally the neighborhood on the podium of the Eddie Aikau, man.
Yeah.
That was so tap. And yeah, huge congratulations to you, Landon. I know.
Thanks, bro.
I straight up cried after when he won that event. I was like, bro, what this guy's done in the last year, everything. I'm like, bro, this is a testament of why you won right here. This is why Eddie chose you. It's not because of this is, you deserved every bit of that. And yeah, I was so honored to be up there next to Mace, Jamie. I looked up to you my whole life.
Thanks.
My best friends, little brothers. It's just rad, bro. That was the dream day. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Liam, for calling it on. Yeah, Uncle Liam. Had to
Uncle
freaking-
Liam.
I was trying to push
Brought a
back the
hot-
start in the morning, and Uncle Clyde said, we on at 9. I was like, okay, I'm
Uncle
going to wax
Clyde.
up. I'm on at 9.
Yeah.
How's honorable mention Ha'a's rides too?
Bro,
His first
yeah.
Eddie.
He was in our
Ha'a
first heat.
boy.
Dude, he was crying. He's like, oh. He's like, I
Feeling
love
it.
you, Jamie, forever. I was like, bro, I love you, huh? He's like, I'm scared. I'm all, me too, bro. Like,
Sick.
nuts.
He's feeling
So
it. Huh?
cool
He
how
wasn't
to
afraid.
how to one event, so many like lifelong moments can happen for people. That was definitely one too. I got to see Ha before the heat, and I was so
Me
proud.
too.
So
Remember,
proud
yeah.
for him. Like everyone's crying and all for different reasons, but all the same reason.
Yeah.
Remember we were all together with him before? That was so sick.
Beautiful time.
All right, we're going to end it. Don't forget, click the link right here to subscribe and right here to watch more videos. And yeah, we'll see you on the next podcast.
All right.